to another edition of Appreciating Veterans, especially on Sunday. Boy, have we got a show for you today. Today we're with our Korean veteran, Bob
Niswanger.
Thank you, Bob. And he has some information for us today that is really going to blow your mind. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Thank you.
Let's jump right in. When did you start first joining the military?
Okay, I was a bad boy, just like a lot of kids were after the Depression. And I was stealing stuff, and I knew that I was going to go to jail. And what I did was I went down to the Navy, and I told them that I wanted to join the Navy. And I told them that I was 17 years old. And they asked me to come back the next day. The next day I went back, and I was talking to them, and they said, you're not 17, you're not 16, you're only 14 years old. You can't join the Navy. And I said, you let the Sullivan brother join the Navy at 14, and I want to join the Navy. I want to join the Navy at 14. And he says, you can't do that. He says, try the Army. Well, when I was 15 years old, I tried the Army. And they asked me to go home and have my mother fill out a form that said that I was 17 years old, and she didn't mind for me to go into the military. And so that's what we did. And I went back the next day, and they took me into the military, and I went to Fort Sheridan, Illinois to be inducted. And then later on I went to basic training in San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas, where you did your basic training.
Right, that's where I did my basic
And
training.
how was your basics?
Well, it was a wonderful experience. It's something that everybody should be able to experience in their lifetime. The training is wonderful, and I would never have survived without the basic training when I went to Korea.
Oh, I see. And that's where you were stationed at? What was initially your MOS? What job?
Well, I was clerical, but when I went to Korea, I was an aircraft dispatcher.
Really?
Yes, and I was cleared for top secret at the age of 17 years old.
Okay. At 17, you had a top secret clearance?
At top secret.
That's outstanding.
That's
outstanding.
right.
Okay, so just in general, can you tell us about your military career, what you did, where you went, some of the things that, some of the places that you went to, some of the conditions? Can you tell us about that?
Well, first of all, it was the coldest that I ever was in my lifetime. When you ask any Korean veteran that went north, what was the weather like, and they will tell you that it was the coldest that they ever were, and they never forgot the cold. It was 100 below zero.
Ooh, 100 below zero?
And that was before windshield factor.
Oh, man. I can imagine that, because I've been to a couple of these islands.
It burnt you to breathe.
Oh.
It burnt your nose, it burnt your lips. You can still see that I have lips that has been burnt from the cold weather. And the biggest problem was we were dressed for Japan, and when we went to Korea, we did not have our clothing. We had street clothes.
Ooh.
And the sleeping bag had a zipper that was metal, and it froze, and we couldn't get out of our sleeping bags. And the infantry, they got bayoneted because they couldn't get out of their sleeping bags in foxholes. And there was 11,000 men that froze to death in Korea. And there were thousands that were missing in action. The Chinese and the North Koreans put leaflets out for anyone that wanted to go over to the other side, that they would furnish them with a beautiful Oriental wife and a home, and they give them money to be able to survive with. And a lot of the guys went over to the other side, and they were missing in action, and they have survived all of their life in China.
Okay. So basically, when you got back so let's say when you got back to the States, how did the Veteran Administration treat you?
Well, they told us that the fire in St. Louis, Missouri was a terrible fire, and it burned up all of our records, and there was no evidence of us even, when I filed the claim, there was no evidence of me even being in Korea. And they didn't have any information about the weather or anything like that, because all of the reports and everything were burned up. So a big fire that I was one of the last soldiers to leave Pyongyang, and I was in a Jeep at the end of the convoy, and the steering wheel was so cold that our hands would stick to the steering wheel, and would have to constantly be steering like this, and when our hand would leave our nose for the steering wheel, it would be moist, and it would freeze to the steering wheel. We couldn't get our hands loose. And it was, breathing was just almost impossible. You just hardly warm up you breathe into your hand and warm up the air that you breathe in order to keep from freezing your lungs and your nose. We had icicles hanging from our face when we came back, and you couldn't tell black men from white men. We were so dirty from being at the end of the convoy. And one of the things that happened on the way back, we stopped in the police station to warm up. And they had 4 soldiers on the ground, stretched out, and they were torturing them. They were hitting them in the head with the butt of their gun, and kicking them in the head, and kicking them in the stomach. And it was about midnight when we finally landed in the police department, and it was about 6 o'clock in the morning when we finally left, and they asked us if we wanted to watch the execution, and I said, no way. And we got out to the Jeep, and we took the blanket off of the Jeep. I put the blanket on the Jeep engine so that it wouldn't freeze, and lo and behold, it started, and we got the heck out of there.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand also that you've been the sponsor of a certain bill. When you got out of the military, what are some of the things you did when you got out?
Well, I went to the Club Chi-Chi over in Oakland on 12th Street.
Okay.
And they had a black band, Red Tops, and they were absolutely wonderful with swing. And I went in to the dance club, and I was doing jitterbug, and I happened to see that they were doing a different kind of a swing than I was doing, and nobody would dance with me except one big fat woman named Alice. and I developed a good strong lead, and she taught me how to do the West Coast swing. And
so this is what this bill that you sent to Senator Knopp, Carvin, Deals, Kenney, is that how you say that? Kenney, Mello, and Mr. Petrus in 1988. Is that correct?
1988. And I wrote a letter to them, and I said,
what did the letter consist?
wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if we could stop the road, the drive-by shootings, and have, like the old days, we used to go over to someone's house on a Saturday and a Sunday, and we'd practice in the basement or the garage or something like that, and we'd teach each other West Coast swing.
West Coast swing. So you are the author of the West Coast swing?
No. There were people before me that developed the West Coast swing, and I just learned it from them.
Oh, you're going to really enjoy this. We have a clip. Do we have that clip? Roll that clip for me.
This was years ago, in 1988, I made this DVD, and I was a lot younger then,
but I think you're going to get a big kick out of this. And I have it on YouTube. And you go to YouTube and then you type in dance-bob-a-lou and you will see me dancing just like you're going to see me dancing here. And I appreciate your asking me here today so that I can demonstrate this for you. Thank you very much, Bob.